Hey everybody, and welcome back to Never Lose Your Nerd. I'm Brandon.
I'm Ishmael.
Today we're going to do a video of the Dark Saber, the history, who had it, stuff like that. We got introduced to it in the last episode of The Mandalorian. Holy crap, that was pretty cool.
Yes, it was amazing. The way it looks like a samurai sword, if you think about it. Because
Yeah.
it looks different than a lightsaber. It's sharper in the top, and it looks like black lightning on there.
Yeah, it's basically like a sword. I think what I've read, researched, it's like a shorter sword, but like with your emotions and stuff, it actually can change size and do different things. So it's pretty interesting.
It can turn.
Yeah, it can get bigger depending on, I think, when you're angrier or when you're like in.
So the Dark Saber is basically is bad?
No, not necessarily. Basically what it is, it's the symbol for Mandalore, the Mandalorians. Like whoever wields it is like the leader. It's basically a symbol for the Mandalorian people.
Well, okay, now I know that.
Yeah, we're gonna go pretty in, not all the way in depth, but we're gonna go, over a lot of the history. We're gonna go over the people who have held it, of why Moff Gideon possibly has it, who he could have got it from.
He probably killed someone.
Getting into the research, it's actually a really long history. It's dating back before the New Republic and all that. It goes back like I think about 1,000 years. It was created by Tar Vizsla, who was actually what?
A Mandalorian. He was a Jedi Mandalorian.
Well, he was the first Mandalorian ever, and I think since then to be accepted into the Jedi, not council, but be a Jedi.
Would he be wearing his armor and the lightsaber if he was a Jedi?
I don't know. I'm gonna do a lot of visuals in this video. Most of the photos I'm gonna show are from a show called Rebels, which is a lot of this stuff canon wise is been introduced. So a lot of that stuff is gonna be from Rebels, like what the characters look like, how they were introduced to Dark Saber. A lot of it is from Clone Wars too, I believe. A lot of those characters I'm gonna show are gonna be from those shows.
We gotta watch those shows.
Yeah, I've started watching the Clone Wars. I want to get caught up on that because the new season I think is going to start in February.
And they're still making episodes for the Clone Wars?
Yeah, I think they took a hiatus for a few years. A lot of people wanted it to come back, and it's finally going to come back. So it's been 6 seasons, so we got a lot to catch up on. There's a lot in there going back to the history and stuff like that. Darth Maul coming back, the Dark Saber, how we got introduced. There's a lot of history, like I said, especially in the animated series.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess now you have to really catch up on the animated series because especially now with the TV shows coming out, they're going to try to do like Marvel where they're going to tie in everything, which you have to basically watch. Said Mandalorian, kind of if you want to keep up, and you're going to have
Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, Obi-Wan coming up, but you're going to have to keep up with a lot of these shows if you want to know all this stuff because a lot of this stuff I didn't even know.
You didn't? I don't even know anything.
Yeah, because like I said, going into the Mandalorian series, I actually wasn't that excited. I was like, I don't really know or care about the Mandalorians that much. Like I said, we knew about Boba Fett, but Boba Fett was never one of my favorite characters.
We knew Boba Fett and Jango Fett.
Yeah, Jango Fett was introduced in the Clone Wars, which that's where Boba Fett came from. He was a clone of him. But yeah, getting back to, like I said, Tar Vizsla created it. He was the first Jedi to be introduced or to be a Jedi, and he was force sensitive because you would have to be force sensitive to be a Jedi. So
you do?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't know if he's the only Mandalorian to ever be force sensitive, but as far as that goes.
No, but there was another girl who was in the Rebels.
Well, was she force sensitive?
Yeah, she wielded a lightsaber.
But that doesn't mean she was force sensitive. She wasn't a Jedi. You would have to be a Jedi, I believe, to you have to be force sensitive to be a Jedi because you got to be pretty powerful to become a Jedi. So yeah, I said he was the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi. After he died, we don't know all the specifics, but like I said, a lot of this stuff took place thousands of years before what we know now. So after his death, we don't know exactly sure how he died, but it was kept in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
How did the Mandalorians get it back, or what happened to the
They had to break in the Jedi Temple and steal it and kill the Jedi.
Well, yeah, going back in history, the Jedi and Mandalorians had like a big fight or war, something like that. And yeah, the Mandalorians at one time did break into the temple, steal the sword, had a big fight between them and the Jedi.
I thought the Jedi were good, but
No, the Jedi's are good. They're keepers of the peace. They're not going out to kill people or anything like that. They're, I said, basically like security or police for the world, basically.
Oh.
The Mandalorians that stole it were actually members of House Vizsla, so that name has been passed down. So the first Mandalorian, they create the saber, first become a Jedi. That's basically like the name for the Mandalorians, House Vizsla.
House Vizsla.
Yeah, members of House Vizsla stole the sword, and it was passed down by the ancestors of pre-Vizsla, which gets more to times of the movie. He actually held the Dark Saber during the events of the Clone Wars, so that whole time between Clone Wars and probably Revenge of the Sith and a little bit before that, he actually did hold the sword. So his whole ancestry before him, it had been passed down generation to generation until it got to him.
Yeah, isn't he like a bad guy though?
Yeah, from the way he's depicted, he's not really a good guy. He actually led a group called Death Watch.
Oh yeah, Death Watch, yeah.
Which is interesting that I didn't know. If you watch The Mandalorian, this last episode, whenever Din Djarin gets saved, those guys have the symbol of Death Watch on their shoulders. So they're actually members of Death Watch.
But that was when you telling me when he was like trying to escape from Baby Yoda?
No, when he was
when all the Mandalorians came out?
No, whenever they showed him as a kid, that last episode.
Oh.
When they showed him as a kid and the droid was fixing to shoot him when he was down in the little pit or whatever.
And then that person?
Yeah, those Mandalorians had the symbol from the Death Watch, so they're actually from Pre-Vizsla's group.
Oh,
so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. They're good, right? Those people were good?
I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. Not really, because at a certain point the Mandalorians split off. There was more of a pacifist, peaceful side of the Mandalorians, and then there was a more militaristic, I don't know how to say, aggressive faction, which was the Death Watch. So they kind of split up at one point and kind of went different ways as far as views, you know.
Which way would you go?
My personality, I mean, I'm not going to go out and just kill people for no reason and just do stuff like that. So I'd probably be more pacifist. Unless I had to take care of something, I would, but...
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a jerk just to be a jerk or mean. I'm not a mean person, you know. I'll help people if they need it, but I'm also not going to let people just push me around and do whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at one point they did split off, and Pre-Vizsla actually led the Death Watch faction.
Yeah.
Which it actually, I mean, we can get into this in another video. It ties into Darth Maul and the Shadow. So it's called the Shadow Collective. They actually work with them, but well, I don't want to get off topic. Just in this video, we're gonna cover the sword and how it was passed down, who had it, and then another video we can get a lot more in
depth. And then out of nowhere, I mean, Darth Maul fought with Pre-Vizsla. And then Pre-Vizsla lost the Dark Saber against Darth Maul. And that means Darth Maul wielded the Dark Saber too.
Yeah, Darth Maul did end up leading the Mandalorians for a while. It's pretty wild.
Did he do it good though? Like,
I mean, you know, Darth Maul is evil, so he's not really.
the way I didn't think about it, how did he not have his double-bladed sword when he was fighting the Sith?
I don't know. You have to go back and watch all the animated shows. I think he did at one point, but maybe he lost it or something like that. But not watching all the Clone Wars or Rebels, I don't know exactly the whole story.
Back then, when Rebels used to be on, I didn't really care for it because I thought it didn't mean anything to Star Wars.
Yeah, if I could go back in time, I would have watched all that stuff when it happened and kept up with it. Another character that I found was introduced to was a character called Sabine Wren. It was a girl, a lady, and interesting. She actually retrieved it from Darth Maul's mother's lair, which his mother was She was called the Night Sister, right?
Yeah, the Night Sister.
She retrieved it from the Night Sister's lair. Like I said, there's a big history behind that. we can do. I want to do a bunch of videos over all these little things that happen, but
Actually, the Night Sister is even in a game called Jedi Fallen Order.
yeah, I haven't tried that game yet. I got it for him for Christmas. Oh yeah, another thing. Happy New Year.
Yeah,
This
Happy
is
New Year.
we're doing this on New Year's Day, so yeah.
New Year's
Well, the day after New Year's, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, Happy New Year's. Forgot to mention that. Yeah, Sabine Wren was introduced. She had retrieved the Dark Saber from the Night Sister's lair.
Yeah.
And she ended up giving it to a person named Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan, yeah. Bo-Katan was the last person to wield, as far as we know.
Yeah, the stuff I researched with her was pretty interesting. She didn't want it in the beginning. Yeah, interesting thing. Sabine Wren actually, and Wren is not the same as Kylo Ren. It's spelled differently. It's W-R-E-N for Ren. Kylo Ren is R-E-N. So, just didn't want to get that confused because he was asking me.
Well, I thought
It's
Ren
not
was
the
spelled
same.
R-I-N.
No, I believe it's R-E-N. So yeah, it's not the same. So as far as that goes, and then Sabine gave it to Bo-Katan because she felt like she wasn't worthy and she didn't want the responsibility. But yeah, that's a whole interesting thing that she ended up getting it back, and she actually tried to go reunite the houses because I think her mom was leading the Mandalorians at the time.
Oh yeah, didn't what's his name? Obi-Wan Kenobi liked her.
Yeah, that's a different thing. He liked her sister, I believe. He had a relationship with, I believe it was either Sabine Wren or Bo-Katan's sister, but like I said, that's something else.
Isn't he a Jedi? He can't.
I know
It's
that's kind of weird, right? Because they were getting on to Anakin about that, and then Obi-Wan here is having a relationship.
Obi-Wan knew a hypocrite, sorry.
But yeah, that was pretty interesting. Like I said, she tried to combine the clans and actually did. So Bo-Katan was actually the last one to wield it. Like I said, as far as we know, before Moff Gideon. And I believe Sabine and Satine Wren were sisters. Like I said, yeah, Satine Wren, I think, was the one that had a relationship with Obi-Wan. And then Sabine got it back and gave it to Bo-Katan. And like I said, it's a whole crazy history I never knew of.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It's crazy.
And then, like I said, and the finale of Mandalorian, we see Moff Gideon with it, and that's just a whole nother.
Honestly, I think Moff Gideon probably murdered Bo-Katan.
Yeah, he probably did, or maybe Bo-Katan is actually alive in jail somewhere. Maybe he tortured, because Moff Gideon was an
Bo-Katan was a she.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Bo-Katan was a female. Moff Gideon was an ISB officer. It stands for Imperial Security Bureau officer. So he was like
during the purge.
Yeah, well, during all of it, even before that, he was up in the ranks. Moff is like a big title. Grand Moff is like behind the Emperor, and Darth Vader is like the biggest of the generals and the leaders.
Was Darth Vader alive during this time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was still Anakin until after
for real?
Revenge of the Sith.
Wait, this is before Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah, because this is during the Clone Wars, so Anakin is alive. So yeah, Moff Gideon specialized in torture and just finding out if anybody was a spy. Well, he was basically a spy.
He was a spy for the Empire.
Yeah, and he was a specialist in all kinds of stuff, but yeah, he would torture people, and he would basically try to find out if people were loyal to the Republic, and all that. So
but
he's a pretty bad dude.
The Republic is good, right? And the Empire is bad, right?
Well, back then we thought the Republic was good, but Sidious was behind the scenes pulling the strings to make the Republic what it would be, the Empire.
Oh, so the Empire is basically the Republic.
Basically, they turned into that.
So what's the good side called?
The Rebels. Yeah, basically the Rebels. I can't remember what else they were called. Not separatists, but yeah, basically just where we're going up against the bad. The good guys are always considered the bad guys in Star Wars, seems like.
It's kooky dukes. Star Wars is kooky dukes.
Yeah, but no telling how Moff Gideon got it. Like I said, we should get all that information in the next season of Mandalorian, which should be coming out in the fall. This year they're already shooting it, so should be done by the end of this year. So we should find out all that information.
Yes.
But yeah, anything else you got note wise, or anything you want to say about the Dark Saber?
Honestly, the Dark Saber, I would like to have it. If you could have a lightsaber, which one would you have?
I would just have a blue lightsaber. That's my favorite color. That's what I want. Blue.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of history with the Dark Saber.
Yeah, like I said, I want to do some other videos, so we'll probably get more in depth with some other spin-off videos. So I want to save some information for other videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and end it there. If you would like, subscribe,
hit the bell for notification, and see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Bye.